Hey guys, it's Madison Estes. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Knock at the Cabin, a film that I thought was going to be one of my favorite movies of the year, but unfortunately it is one of my biggest disappointments. I'm a big fan of Paul Tremblay's novel The Cabin at the End of the World, which is the book that this movie was based off of, and I was really looking forward to this adaptation. I'm also usually a really big fan of M. Night Shyamalan. I think that, The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable are brilliant films. I also really enjoy The Village and Signs and a few of his other movies, and overall I think he's just a pretty solid filmmaker, but man, he really dropped the ball with this one. So this story is about a gay couple, Eric and Andrew, and their adopted daughter Wynn, who were on a family vacation in a secluded area. 4 people break into their home, claiming to be messengers from God, and eventually tell them that they're going to have to murder one of the members of their family in order to stop the apocalypse. It's a very intense premise, and it definitely gets the ball moving right away with the home invasion happening at the very beginning of the book, and of course the main characters being at the mercy of their captors in the very first act. It's very intense. And I would say that the movie did a pretty decent job of maintaining that tension up until the midpoint, which is also when it began to deviate from the source material, and that's really whenever it began to fall apart. So before I get into spoilers, I want to say just a few more general comments. This movie does have a few instances of characters behaving in ways that just don't feel realistic. For instance, Andrew is able to get his hands on a gun, and instead of shooting one of their captors to save his family, he just stands there like an idiot, pointing it at her, saying, "Get back or I'll shoot, get back or I'll shoot, stay away from my family," just threatening her instead of actually shooting her. Especially whenever there was 3 other captors and at any moment you could be attacked from one of them. It just doesn't really make sense to just stand there threatening one of them whenever you could be shooting. Yeah, that part didn't work for me, and I don't remember if that happened in the book or not. There was definitely just a few moments where it was really hard to root for Andrew because he had so many opportunities to have the upper hand and he let them all go, and that was kind of disappointing. I also think that some of the special effects could have been better. There's some scenes where they are tied down and forced to watch the news, and the news sort of makes them begin to think that, oh, maybe the apocalypse is real, maybe there is some truth to this. I just think that the imagery could have been a little bit more horrifying or intense. I mean, this is mostly just a bunch of people sitting around in a cabin. One of them does manage to get a gun and shoot at some point, but there's not really a whole lot going on visually speaking. And I felt like, that's the one advantage a movie has over a book, is that you get to play with imagery. And I felt like it was very strange that, the book almost felt like it had more visuals than the movie in a way. The only thing that really was shocking to me was watching all of the planes starting to fall out of the sky. That was the coolest thing that happened in the book, and I remember thinking, oh, that would be really cool to see on screen, and it was, but I still feel like they could have done a lot more. I don't know, for some reason most of what we saw just felt like the normal stuff that you would see on television, which maybe that was intentional, maybe that was trying to create some kind of connection there, but I don't think it was. I think that they just maybe didn't have a large enough budget to do more, which is unfortunate, but I feel like even with a pretty minimal budget and some CGI, they could have done something a little bit more. I mean, they did a lot with Cocaine Bear. I feel like if you can do a CGI of a bear that has a drug addiction for most of a movie, you can have 1 or 2 really cool CGI scenes of things happening around the world that are catastrophic and that feel more abnormal than what you would see on the news in a normal news cycle. But these things are very, very minor in comparison to the biggest flaw of this film, which is the ending. And it's not just that I didn't enjoy the ending, it's the fact that the ending kind of ruins the entire message of the book, and really the message of the movie up until that point. I'm going to get into spoilers now, so if you haven't seen Knock at the Cabin, I would leave now, but before you do, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. So the way the movie ends is that Eric ends up believing the horsemen, and he convinces Andrew to murder him in order to save the world. Andrew and Wynn drive away. They go to a diner where they watch the news, and it turns out all of the horrifying things that had been happening all over the world suddenly stopped, and now all of these really tragic stories have happy endings. And then they go in their car and turn on the music, and the same song that was playing earlier whenever Andrew and Eric and Wynn were all together begins playing again, which is, clearly a sign from beyond, which is Eric getting in touch with them, telling him, that you did what you had to do. The ending of this movie is that the sacrifice was necessary, that the horsemen weren't crazy, and that Eric is contacting Andrew from beyond the grave to tell him, hey, everything is okay on the other side, you did what you had to do to save the world, good job. This is very different from the book, where Eric and Andrew decide that they will not kill each other, that they will let the apocalypse happen and the rest of the world can die if it means that they get to be together. Also, I don't think that either of them is truly convinced that the apocalypse is going to happen, but even in the back of their minds, that little bit of doubt that they have, they decide that they would rather spend the rest of their lives together alone than save the world. And first of all, I think that that in itself is very beautiful and something that I think was worth preserving in the movie. The idea that, love can mean everything to us, so much so that a person can literally be our entire world, can literally be so important to us that we would give up everything for them. And it's really kind of sad that this movie lost that. I think the biggest issue is that in the book, due to the ambiguous ending, it allows you, the reader, to decide for yourself, everything that's happened in the entire story, what is truly a sign from God and what is just, the news being the news and doing all of their fear-mongering, and, combine that with the interpretation from religious fanatics and their crazy dogma, and you have, some truly insane theories. But, it allows you to decide, is the planes falling from the sky truly a sign from God that they have to do this, that the world's going to end? Or is that just fear-mongering? And I think that that's what makes the book so brilliant, is that you as a reader have to decide for yourself what you believe. The book is a brilliant commentary with what is going on in America right now, particularly with our news outlets and all the fear-mongering that's going on and all of the appeals to religious fanatics, as well as seeing firsthand how religious fanatics will watch the news and use whatever they see in order to validate theories that they already have. Versus this movie that just flat out shows us, oh hey, the religious fanatics were right. By showing us that a sacrifice actually was needed, it completely erases the message of the book. And what's really sad is that I think M. Night Shyamalan went with this ending because he thought it would be the most surprising, and he's kind of known for his twist endings. But unfortunately, I don't think this even surprised anyone. I think most people probably watched this film uncertain as to whether or not the religious fanatics were right, and making them right didn't really add anything to the film. Now, on to the part of the video that's probably gonna piss somebody off. Okay, so I'm trying to say this in the way that's not going to make people mad, but there was definitely parts of this film that felt completely tone deaf. One of the members of a gay couple has to murder the other one in order to save the world, in what is allegedly the Christian apocalypse, right? Because they call themselves the Four Horsemen, so you can't even get away from the fact that this film is clearly about Christianity, right? There's clearly a Christianity dogma going on. And these Christian characters, even though some of them say they're not religious, if you're calling yourself the Four Horsemen and you're claiming to be acting on God's behalf, obviously there's some Christian elements there. They're literally telling a gay couple that, one of them has to die and then the world will be saved. We see that already with people that are saying that gay couples are running the world, trying to stop gay couples from adopting, acting like they're destroying the nuclear family just because they want to have kids. We see it everywhere in America. It's on the news constantly. I do not think that the filmmakers meant to send the message that they did. I don't think they meant for it to have that subtext. But it doesn't matter how many times your characters say, oh, we're not homophobic. First of all, one of them was homophobic. One of them had committed a homophobic hate crime before the film started, so 3 of them were maybe not homophobic. But it doesn't matter if the entire subtext of your film is homophobic. And that kind of felt that way to me. It kind of felt like, hey, the religious fanatics that you think are so crazy, they're the ones that are in the right. And it's, the gay couple that's the problem. And once we kill one of them, and he's a single dad he's still gay, but he's no longer in a loving, monogamous gay relationship. Once you kill one of them, the world will be a better place, or a safer place. Yeah, I think that there's a problem there. I will say that the acting was good and the cinematography was good, and obviously the premise was great. I would say the first act in general was pretty good. Aside from Andrew and Eric making a few stupid decisions, I still enjoyed it. It's really the ending and the message of the story getting so messed up and so twisted that really ruined this movie for me. So if you felt differently about this movie, if you saw it through another lens, you didn't see any subtext, or you saw something different, Please let me know in the comment section below. My word is not the word of God. I feel like I should make a joke there, some kind of fear-mongering joke. Anyways, the point is that, feel free to disagree with me. I'm really not trying to start any kind of hate. Like I said, I really enjoy M. Night Shyamalan's other films, at least most of them. I don't want to see him blacklisted or anything like that. I just want him to stop adapting things that I love. Please. Please do more original things. That way, if I'm disappointed, I won't be as disappointed. Let me know what you think. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Have you read the book? And if so, do you agree that the message got kind of twisted? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. On this channel, I post reviews, writing advice, horror commentary, and vlogs. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later.